And we're back with Spider-Man, the animated series, this time season 1, episode 10. Episode 10. Yes, episode 10. Okay, so we are entering the third part of the Alien costume series, and just to be appropriate, I'm wearing my Venom t-shirt because we know that's what's going to happen in this episode. Even if I hadn't seen this story arc before, when I was like, I have no idea how years old, but a lot younger. Even if I don't vaguely remember this story, it's not hard to tell that we're getting Venom this episode. So yeah, because that's how the last episode ended. The black suit came off Peter and started dripping down onto Eddie Brock, and now he is Venom. I am kind of sad that the black suit didn't last a little longer, but then again, I don't think you could escalate that much more than how he was behaving with Shocker last episode. When Christopher Barnes delivered an overacting moment when he was shouting at Shocker and almost killed him as well. So yeah, I don't think you could get much worse than that. So that's why he had to take it off, and Eddie Brock was just happened to be there. I don't think I've got much more to say, so let's just get into Season 1, Episode 10 of Spider-Man the Animated Series, starting right now.
You made a fool of
Bloody Nora!
you could. Surprise, surprise.
Bloody hell. Look how ripped he is!
Now, you're going to pay. From now on, we're poisoned. You, Spider-Man, that's what we call ourselves. Venom. I feel great.
Back in the red.
They tell me the blue really brings out my eyes.
He's back to the comedy shtick.
Mine isn't.
Hey.
Back off. He belongs to us.
Oh my god. Just throwing Rhino about the place.
How am I gonna fight both those creeps at the same time? Huh? Whose webbing is that? Why don't we introduce you to our better half? We call ourselves Venom. The symbiote that Peter Parker tried to destroy, Eddie Brock has embraced. We bonded. Our symbiote, it's still alive. How? How did it find Brock? You don't understand, Brock. It doesn't just bond with you, it takes over. Brock! Surprise! They never triggered my spider sense. Such low red weapon. Listen to me, Brock. You can stop calling us that. We are Venom now. You know nothing about us. We know everything about you. You see us everywhere, even in your nightmares. Get a grip, Parker. My name is Eddie Brock, and I need to double check the address you sent my weights to. Okay. Yes, that's right. Thank you.
Here are those clippings you wanted on Brock. Why do you need them?
School project. Thanks, Mr. Robertson.
Hey, everybody! It is here.
That black ooze isn't a dream. It's my worst nightmare. Spider-Man is finished. I'm through. There's nothing I can do. Brock. Wonder what people would do if they knew who Spider-Man was. Hey, let's go ask Jameson about it. The more you hate me, the more the symbiote can control you. Who said we hate you? That is where your biggest fan. Film streamers. Now it is a party. Revenge is a human trait we enjoy. We'll have our revenge against you. And those close to you. And me. Or Mary Jane Watson. We know all about them too. You leave them alone.
I love this version of Venom. Ah!
Somebody, what do I do to make this thing zoom in?
You're supposed to be a master reporter, Jameson. Nice.
This'll have to do until I get my spare mask at home.
There she is.
Sorry I'm late.
That's okay, Peter. I ran into someone who says he's a friend of yours.
Don't you just love them, Peter?
We're going to miss the show.
Rock's a weirdo, okay? I'll explain later.
Who are you talking about?
Mary Jane, do you trust me?
What are you...
Do you trust me?
Yes, I think I do.
Then just do as I say.
She's got no reason to.
Don't ask me any questions. Please.
Okay.
And of course.
Buddy, real quaint. Homemade.
What a nice man. So polite.
Ugh.
Won't see you again. How can you screw us?
Yeah. I really like this version of Venom.
No! No! Like the way I decorated your new place?
That's your apartment, bro.
Follow me. Come on.
Ooh. Down into the subway.
We're going to turn out your lights. This party is over.
Bloody hell.
Wherever you go, there's no place on earth that we can't find you. Now where is he? Please. Sorry, big guy, but I think we're about to reach your stop.
Where is Spider-Man 2? Oh, mate.
The military base launchpad. We're here.
Oy.
Colonel John Jameson.
All three people cheering.
Fitting, since this all started in space.
Yep. Oi. There we are. Hey. And we have liftoff. Oh, they got Brock.
I did it. I beat the most relentless, unforgiving opponent I've ever faced.
Looking up at the sky on a night like this, it's easy to believe that we're not alone. I wonder what's out there.
That's exactly what I was wondering, too.
Yes! I've got to say, Hank Azaria, who plays Eddie Brock and Venom, awesome job in this episode. I didn't write anything down after Venom tried to take his mask off, but this was an incredible episode. I don't even need to bother with, like, obviously I'm going to bother with the ranking, but I don't even need to bother deciding where it's going to go. This was by far the best episode of this show so far. It was so good. I love this version of Venom. The the creepy stalker type, the nightmare, the one that plagues Spider-Man's mind. I love that version of him. And despite how much I love Tom Hardy's version of Venom, and at first I was upset that he wasn't in the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, and that he probably won't be, but now that I think about it, Tom Hardy's version of Venom is too lovable at this point to be an effective villain for a Tom Holland Spider-Man film. He's too lovable, he's too enjoyable. It's a very different version of Venom as to this, which I think this is the perfect kind of Venom that's just a villain for a Spider-Man film. Okay, first off we start with Rhino and Shocker coming to get back at Spider-Man for what happened to them in the last 2 episodes. Spider-Man's all back in his red and blue again, and I've noticed that it's not hard to tell that in the last couple of episodes with the black suit, the comedy of Spider-Man has dropped a little bit. Like he wasn't making quips like he usually does, but he was back at it in this episode making jokes. But yeah, he was overwhelmed by Shocker and Rhino. I mean, mainly Shocker because he managed to deal with Rhino pretty fast, but then Shocker showed up and it was almost all over until Venom came along and just beasted the both of them. No, there was none of the Kingpin, Smythe and Prometheum X stuff in this episode, but then again, that was all finished off. Like Kingpin and Smythe, they don't have the Prometheum. Well, they do have the Prometheum X, but it's no longer Prometheum X. It's turned into lead right now, so there's no reason to carry on with that because it's done. It was all about Venom in this episode, and yes, it was great. It was great. Just this, I love how Spider-Man described it at the end once he beat Venom. He's beat the most unrelenting, unforgiving opponent that he's ever faced, and that's exactly what Venom is. He was just a foil to Spider-Man in almost all aspects of this one. He was stronger than Spider-Man, he couldn't trigger his spider sense, he was constantly stalking him, ruining his life. Coming to the theatre where he was supposed to have his date with Mary Jane, and also coming to his home to talk to Aunt May. And I've said before, it's happened in other shows that sometimes I do feel a bit upset that sometimes we deal with villains a bit too fast, because that seems like an ending for Venom. Like, I know he shows up later again, but that almost seems like a definitive ending for Venom, and I lament that it's only 1 episode. But then again, the whole point of this is that Venom is not going to stop. Like, he'll continue to make your life hell unless you deal with him now. Like, you can't afford to lock him up or let him get away, because it's only going to get worse. So he has to stop it before something terrible happens. Yeah, first fight happens, Venom just absolutely beasts Spider-Man. And Spider-Man is even questioning, how is the symbiote still alive and how did it find Brock? Bro, did that symbiote give you fucking amnesia? You let it get away in the last episode and you left Brock there for it to find. You watched it slither away into a crack in the ground and you left Eddie Brock hanging there. And you're questioning how did the symbiote find Brock? And even as well at the Bugle when he's looking up how to find Brock, just full on committing fraud basically. When he calls up that Atlas equipment and says, "I need to double check the address you sent my weights to," and I know it's a cartoon show, but you'd think a company would ask for confirmation of your identity before they give away that kind of information. Because from that, Peter managed to get Eddie's address. Is it that easy for you to get a stranger's, well, not a stranger, but someone else's address? Is it that easy? And then he was also asking Robbie for reports on Brock, and Robbie asks, why do you need them? And Peter answers with a school project. What school project is going to ask you to investigate a reporter who's had his reputation destroyed because he's a liar? It's a poor cover, but it will work in the sense of it will work in the sense of a kids show. And that's also where you find out about when Jameson and John Jameson show up. That's when you find out about the John Jameson probe, the shuttle launch, the satellite launch. Like, it could be seen as like just a background thing, but then it comes into play later on. Yeah, as soon as he leaves the Bugle, he's even saying that Spider-Man is finished, so he definitely sees Venom as like a reason to stop being Spider-Man. Venom immediately shows up and threatens to tell everyone that he is Spider-Man, that Peter is Spider-Man. Jameson especially. And that's where you get the fight on top of the Bugle. I also really like the comedy side of Venom. Like, talking about his web, he's like, look, it's streamers, yay! And then the very sarcastic version of him. Once again, round 2, Spider-Man absolutely gets beasted by Venom again. He gets tied up in his webbing and hung over the edge of the Bugle, and even gets his mask taken off. And it's only because Jameson does not know how to work a camera that the head news reporter in New York City, it's only because he doesn't know how to use a camera that Spider-Man's identity wasn't broadcast to the world. Don't you just love it when your boss knows less about the job than you? Because Jameson, you're supposed to be a reporter. You're supposed to be the expert on this. But then again, I can imagine that maybe Jameson has been a head of publishing long enough that he doesn't know about all the technology side of stuff. Because that's what it was. He didn't know how to zoom in. He didn't know how to focus. So I'm guessing he's just been boss long enough that he doesn't need to know that stuff, because because all that stuff has come in after he's become boss. But yeah, he gets his mask taken off, threatening Aunt May and Mary Jane. Peter's able to make a quick getaway. But once again, Brock immediately shows up afterwards at his date with Mary Jane at the theatre. And that ruins Spider-Man's date with Mary Jane. It ruins his night, and you can tell that it's only just going to keep happening. He keeps seeing Venom everywhere he goes. That moment when Mary Jane's talking to Peter as they're walking away, Peter looks back and he sees Venom silently walking towards them. That's creepy as fuck. It's creepy as fuck. And he's seeing visions of Venom everywhere he goes. His night with Mary Jane was ruined. I'm amazed that Mary Jane puts up with the shit that Peter does. Like, yes, he has his good reasons, but he doesn't tell her any of those reasons. I do not know why she keeps giving him chance after chance, and he keeps fucking up. With good reason, but in her eyes, he's got no reason. He doesn't explain anything. And after the stuff with Aunt May, Peter's decided enough is enough. He's not gonna stop coming for you, so you've got to fight back, and you've got to deal with it fast. And what follows then is an awesome chase scene through the city, through the subway, on the train, to the rocket launch. I can't emphasize how much I really love a lot of stuff in this episode. The chase was awesome on the train with the truck as well. When you got Venom driving alongside, beeping the horn at you. Eventually, it all comes to a head at the shuttle launch. Why do I keep calling it the shuttle launch? At the satellite launch. Gonna end this where it started. send the symbiote back into space using the sound of the rocket. Using the sound of the rocket to force the symbiote away from Eddie Brock. Spider-Man literally had to back himself into a corner and lure Venom there for it to work. Like, if that shuttle had launched like 20 seconds later, Spider-Man would be dead. Brock was arrested because he was caught in the base. And once again, I have to say, Spider-Man said that he's beat the most unrelenting opponent that he's ever faced. The most dangerous opponent he's ever faced. And now Symbiote is back in space, Eddie Brock is arrested, and the nightmare is over. The alien costume nightmare is over, as well as this trilogy. And I've got to say, it's been amazing. It's an amazing trilogy. Every episode gets better as it goes along. Like the epic shuttle crash in episode 1, the involving of Rhino, the first showing of the black suit, and it makes sense why the black suit comes along when it does, because you start off this arc with Spider-Man getting blamed for stuff he didn't do and not getting stuff that he wants. How he gets blamed for stealing the Prometheum X, even though he saved the lives of the astronauts. Even Aunt May as well, showing that she doesn't like Spider-Man. It all just feeds into the anger of the injustice of Spider-Man, and that's where the black suit comes in. It gives him the power to, in his mind, stop that stuff, but in retrospect, in reality, it just makes him even worse. Like he's literally turning to the dark side, because he's just getting angry and angrier, and it's pushing Felicia away. It's snapping at Aunt May. It's nearly killing Shocker and Rhino. And the thing I love about the black suit is the black suit is where the line "with great power comes great responsibility." That's where the black suit is where that line gets tested. It's where that line really proves true. Because with the black suit, he's got a lot of power, but he's not got a lot of responsibility with it. And so he has to let go of that power. That's the foil of the black suit. When he has to remember Uncle Ben's words, has to remember that line. So, the black suit is when the line, with the iconic line, "great power comes great responsibility," that's where that line gets proven true. And then that's the second episode, and then it just gets even more intense in the third episode, when this reporter that's tried to ruin him, and he's ruined him in return. Because even then, I've got to think about it, last episode, like, Brock's reputation was already ruined. He was already fired by Jameson, and Spider-Man still went going after the photos of the Rhino. So he was planning on humiliating Brock even more, because he was looking for the photos even after Brock had already been proven a liar. Now this reporter who's lost everything, he blames Spider-Man for it all. Also, the black suit also kind of ruined Brock in a way, because the black suit feeds on Peter's hatred for Brock, and it causes him to ruin Eddie Brock in a bad way. And then that suit just goes, you know what, this Peter's rejected us, but this guy that we helped destroy, we know Peter hates, and we know Peter hates him. We know Peter hates him, and we know he hates Peter. So we'll just go to him, and it turns out to be a better match than it was for Peter. It was fantastic. This arc was fantastic, because Eddie Brock as Venom, it was a consequence of his time with the black suit, with the symbiote. It's a consequence of his time with that, and now he has to deal with it. Well, in this episode he had to deal with it, and he did, and he finished it off. So, what a story arc! What an episode! That is all we've got for this week of Spider-Man the Animated Series. Until next time, we are over and out. Bye!